so much of happiness is reconnecting with a part of you that was sensing and experiencing the sense of joy in your day-to-day life. Because listen, isn't it true that you're either happy or you're unhappy? And we don't want you to be unhappy, right? We want you to be happy. We want you to have those and bring those feelings of joy in whatever way that is for you in your life today. So I want to walk you through what I feel is essentially a lifestyle that brings happiness and joy into your life. I call it the high life. And that's the life that I've been living in my life today. And I'd love to know whether that resonates with you at all. Because to me, high life stands for 4 things. And why do I say it's a high life? Because it feels like I'm living, at my best. I'm living with a sense of joy that so much of my life I only experienced in glimpses. That so much of it I just experienced randomly. It would come and go. And now I feel it's so much more consistent. It's so much more predictable. And it's not because just my life is always filled with just magical things happening all of a sudden, but I feel because I've been making my life more meaningful and more supportive of these 4 things. One dimension of like living a high life, of living this kind of life of happiness, of feeling high on life, if you will, right? For me is healing. Being on a journey of healing is something I stepped into in a big, powerful way. You know what? 20 years ago. It would be 20 years ago. That's when it happened. It was after this major breakup. It was this, my first big relationship. It lasted 5 years, and this person, left me for somebody else. And I was completely broken. I was depressed. My anxiety, my panic attacks went through the roof. I was constantly drinking. I was constantly being, wound up. I was in a constant state of fluctuating between anger and panic. And I remember this one time I was driving home from work late at night. And I just remember thinking, I was just so angry, and I kept thinking, like, why did you do this? Why did this happen? And I've just been trying to be a good person, and I just remember I was so frustrated, so upset. I stopped at this red light, and there was no one around me, and I felt all of a sudden a sense of calm come over me. And I was like saying to myself, this is never gonna happen to me ever again. I deserve to be loved, to give love, and be loved in return. And I had this sense of just something, vital changed in my life. Something turned for me. And even though my life was the same, but I felt like something was different. Something just I knew was going to change. And I remember that, I don't know how long I was sitting there, but I think because it was late and there was no one around me, I realized I was in the car, and I looked up and I saw that the light was now green, and I held to the wheel and I pressed the pedal down, and I went forward. And even though I was miserable, even though I was in the worst place of my life, But I knew that something would have to change. And I didn't know what it was. And for me, I didn't know where to turn. And this journey towards healing, which this wasn't the word that I used back then, but I guess it was grown out of desperation, right? I was just in a terrible place. I knew something had to change. As I remember this one time, like my mom asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I said I wanted this great big mirror, right? And my mom bought me this like full like kind of length mirror that I leaned it against the wall. That's how big this thing was. And I would stand in front of this mirror each day naked, like fully naked, you know? And I would look at myself and I would say, you are beautiful. You are sexy. You deserve to give love and be loved in return. And I didn't feel any of it. I didn't feel beautiful or sexy, but I had to teach myself that so that I felt that way on the inside. And took years, and I did a lot of, kind of self-help because I didn't know about, therapy. I didn't know about anything else. I did a lot of, kind of personal growth. I just listened to a lot of, tapes and read so many books on psychology and self-esteem. And I spent a lot of time on my own, and I spent a lot of time like having better habits and just getting to a point where I felt good about myself. It took years. It took about 3 to 4 years. It wasn't. This isn't the road that I recommend, but that was my first huge journey towards healing. Huge part of which I'm eternally grateful because it helped me to find love. And not only I went from a place of a person who was terrified to go out on a date, to look into somebody else's eyes, to terrified of having sex because I couldn't have sex at the time because of going through rape as a child. I was completely petrified physically. I couldn't physically do it. And so I went from a person who was like miserable and I had no hope inside to eventually being in the place where I wanted to someone who would like truly love me for who I am. And a person I would love them for who they were. And like that for me was worth the journey. That for me was like worth the battle. For me, that was worth, trying to figure this thing out. And that was like such a huge part towards healing because it made me fall in love with myself first. What is it that you need to heal from? Is it a wound from when you've been hurt? Is it something that's happening in your life right now? Is it a time when you were betrayed? Is there a time where maybe you missed out on something? You missed out on love or affection or a safe home? I know that not all of us are lucky to have a home that is safe and accepting. And maybe you don't even know what that is. But listen, the numbers tell us that 7 out of 10 people go through a major traumatic event at least once in their lives. And maybe part of not feeling happy is trying to deal with these feelings and these difficult times from the past or from the present. And healing I believe. Listen, whether you would describe your experience or define it as traumatic or not, you've been through some difficult, awful things in your life. Isn't that true? And we all have that. But it doesn't mean that that should prevent you from being happy. You deserve to be happy. I believe in you. I believe that you can go from dealing with traumas of the past and move forward. Now, I don't advise you to spend 4 years looking in the mirror naked and reading a bunch of self-help and psychology books. Although that helps. But I think so much of it is about defining what is healing for you. And that is looking after your health. I believe that is getting and finding the right therapist, which is vital. And if you're looking for therapy that for someone who might really get you and support you, and types of therapy that specialize in supporting and healing from trauma, you can check out my Healing Space Guide. Healing Space Melbourne, it's called. And it's just a free PDF guide where I've interviewed experts in different therapeutic modalities and healing from trauma, and just can really broken down in a really simple way of that I can understand what those therapeutic modalities are, how they work, and where to find someone that can support you today. I really believe that having the right therapist and looking after your own health and doing things that dealing with things that like substance abuse, as I have in the past, dealing with things like getting sleep, which is an area in my life right now where I've made so much progress in, and I realized that amongst other things, amongst like alcohol and other things that were like affecting it in a negative way, one of them was like I just had sleep apnea. I had to really get like a CPAP machine, which is a machine like blows air in, you're wearing like a mask at night. And even though that was a little weird at first, but it's like going through that process of figuring that out, getting tested for it, and now using it. I'm just in a place where I feel so much better. Like I woke up today and I felt like, I felt so good. I felt so light. I felt so nimble. I don't know, what does nimble even mean? I don't even know. But I just said it. And so for me, that supports my healing. That supports me feeling better. That supports me in feeling good, because I am looking after my health proactively as I have not done in years. In fact, I've punished my body for so long. So what is healing for you today? What is the one realistic step that you can take towards healing? Doesn't mean that your whole life has to instantly change magically. But what is the one thing that you can do that will help you heal today? What is the one thing you can realistically commit to take one action? Because listen, I'm a coach. I don't know if you know this. And by the way, my name is Joe Bakhmutsky. I'm the founder of Power to Be Happy, right? Because I believe that we all have this power to seek happiness, to seek clarity in everything that we do, to show up at our best every single day so that you're enough, and to hold on to hope. No matter how crazy things get, things can and do change for the better. And as a coach, I specialize in getting massive clarity in what is right for you now and building up skills instead of surviving out in the world. Building up skills that help you thrive, that help you live a happy, fulfilled, joyous life. But that happens when we move towards healing, when we take action in each of these 4 areas of life. So what's gonna help you heal today, my friend? Is it tackling a part of your health? Maybe you have a concern or something in your life that bothers you, a pain or an ache that you need to get looked at. And maybe you've been putting it off because maybe it's weird or uncomfortable or you're busy or, what is it? What is it you can do about it today? Maybe there's an area of your life where you can make one decision about that will move you towards. It might not change everything. Maybe it's you want to decide that you will get a new therapist. And maybe what you will do is you go onto my website and get the free guide called Healing Space Melbourne and read about all the healing modalities for healing from trauma. Maybe that's one thing that will help you pick someone who will actually be your champion, who will actually support you, who will actually be by your side so you can get there faster. What is going to be? One thing, my friend. What's the one step that moves you closer to healing? So that's part of the high life. The H is healing, my friend. And I is integrity. Because listen, have you ever had people stand you up? Have you ever had people who didn't behave in a way that you expected them to? Have you been in a place in your life where someone just was mean or obnoxious for no good reason at all? Does this happen to you? You're probably thinking, duh, Joe, of course. I know that's part of our life. That's part of our life. Sometimes we come across those people, and sometimes, listen, we can go around and change the world and make everyone be perfect, right? But we can really take a stand on embodying these values of integrity ourselves, taking on virtues that you believe in, of keeping your word, being there for other people when they need you. What does integrity mean for you? How do you want people to treat you? That drives the decision of how we want to be around others. That's how we want to be in our relationships, whether that's with your spouse, whether that's with your family, whether that's with the friends, whether it's with the people you work with, whether that's in your local communities, right? How do you want your values to carry through? And I know you're here, I know you're a good person, but I think committing to our own values, to uphold the integrity, our own personal integrity in such a way that we model the best behaviors that we want to have out there in the world. I think that's so vital in every area of life. I remember when I wanted to fall in love, and I was just trying to imagine, what is this person that, what I want them to be like, what I want her to look like, how do I want her to talk, how would we spend time together, what would it look like? And I realized I have these really high expectations. There's so much that I want, so much beauty, and I think that's, by the way, that's incredible. We should always have really high standards and expectations in life. But the flip side of it is, I realized at the time, you know what, if this is what I want, if this is how high my expectations are, then that's how I gotta be myself. I gotta be able to, I gotta go to that level myself as well. And that's what made the biggest difference, because I realized I have to embody those standards myself. So what is it that you do that helps you kind of feel that sense of integrity about what you're doing? Is it keeping your word? Is it supporting others? Is it, helping someone out? how can you be a greater role model for what you're doing out in the world? For me, I just aspire to be the best that I can be in my family. Like for my kids, I want to show up and I want to, like, even when I'm tired, even when I'm not feeling like it, I'm there to listen. I'm there to, be interested in what they're doing. I'm sure I'm there. I'm physically present. I'm listening. I'm engaged in their world. That's what I want to carry through, because that's what I want them to carry out into their life, going, you know what? I was there. I was valued. I was listened to. I was heard. That's one of the things that means the world to me. What is that for you, my friend? Because I think when we have those high standards for ourselves, that's what people are attracted to. And that's what ultimately creates that sense of trust with people. That creates the sense of influence. That creates that sense of connection and deeper bonds, because people can feel what you're about. I genuinely believe that 100%. The G in high life of happiness and fulfillment and joy, is growth. Personal growth, my friend. I genuinely believe that everything in life, happiness, genuine happiness, and fulfillment comes from mastery. In my teenage years and my early 20s, I was really into music. I loved music. I was in a band. I was like recording stuff. I was writing songs, and I loved doing it. I thought I was pretty good. It never went anywhere, but I kind of always, I loved doing it, but I always kind of just did it as a kind of self-therapy, as I look at it. Like, I just did it when I felt like it. I had a lot of fun. But I never really went deep on it. And I remember I woke up this one day, and I think it would have been my 23, 24, and I just heard the most beautiful music in my mind. It was this like really complex, kind of like a symphony style, beautiful, like melodic, so many changes. It was just this incredible, overwhelming piece of music that I was like, I loved it. But I had no way to capture this anywhere. Like, I didn't really know how to write music, because I only knew like the basics, and I realized that something is missing. I realized that what I want from music is not matched by my capabilities. What I can express is not matched by what I can give. And I realized that I have to grow in life. Well, actually, I didn't realize that at the time. I realized it today. Because when I started the podcast and I wanted to speak and share my story and help and support and inspire other people. When I said I wanted to, write my books, I want to write books, I wanted to write plays. And I realized that I have to do it with excellence, because I don't want it to be like that. Like the way that I have something to say, but I can't even express it. I can't put it into words. I can't share it with people in a meaningful way, in a way that is really like of high standard, And I realized that I have to grow. And that's why I know that, because I'm an author and I want to be a successful author in my life and write many books, I gotta write every single day. If I want to get my play out in the world and my screenplays, and if I want to connect with people and support them and cheer them on, I gotta be doing that stuff every single day. I gotta be doing speaking every day, whether that's on social media, whether that's to myself, whether that's on a podcast, whether that's in talks that I'm doing. I need to do this every day. If I want to be an author, I have to be writing every single day. If I want to get my plays and screenplays out, I have to practice the craft every day. I have to get better at this. I have to understand structure. I have to understand tone. I have to know theme. I have to, get around other people. I have to get coaching. Every single area of my life. I have a speaking coach. I have a writing coach. I have people who have helped me get better and develop the skills that I need to grow, to give at my best, to at the highest level I can possibly be. What does that mean for you? Where in your life do you feel like you need to grow? Where in your life do you need to step up in a way that makes sense for you, that helps you push forward, in a way that you feel better about yourself and the world around you, where you feel your skills, your capabilities are growing? And if you feel that you need those skills for life, check out my coaching program. It's called Clarity First. And you can just go into my website on powertobehappy.com and check out, click on Clarity First. I'll tell you about my coaching program, see if it's right for you. But this is the program where I build up life skills that take us from survival and into thriving. And in areas like confidence, in areas like creativity, in areas like contribution, right? It's a structured curriculum that helps you get major breakthroughs in each of those areas, right? That's what I do. Where do you feel that you need that support into growth, into mastery right now? Do you need a coach like myself? Do you need somebody else in your life? What is the ambition that you have, and how can you get there faster? After all, that's what mastery and growth is you consistently doing progress, and you have people who support you, and you're learning new things, and you're putting those skills into practice, right? That's what essentially growth is all about. And the reason why it's so part of happiness is because it makes you feel happy. Because it's the process of you getting better at things, at you figuring things out. Because if you could figure out this one small thing over here, this tells your brain that, you know what, you can figure this thing out over there. And in this part of your life, if you can make some small positive change happen, well, you know what, you can make it happen over here as well. And it becomes like a ripple effect. Well, all of a sudden you're experiencing growth in all of these different areas. And that's when breakthroughs happen. That's where happiness takes to another level. You know that feeling when you go to another level in something? Isn't it beautiful? And growth, the last part of living the high life, the life of happiness, of joy and fulfillment, comes with hope. You know, I'm so like just big on hope. I'm so big on hope because it's always played such a huge part in my life. Listen, I should be talking about hope because I wrote a book on it. Finding hope in times of uncertainty. A guide to thriving in a challenging world of today. You know, I'm such a huge champion of hope because hope is a possibility. You may not right now be in a place where you have a sense of joy, where you feel that everything is going right for you. And that's okay. But I want to give you the hope that no matter where you are, that things can and do change. Please remember that, my friend, that nothing is set in stone. That yes, life is full of uncertainty and unpredictability and change, but that goes both ways. Yes, it means that, you know, sometimes things might happen that not go the way you want them to, but that also means that things can change for the better. New things that you have never even considered, that seem so far away, can just come into your life and change in ways that you did not expect. They can turn your life upside down. I know this because I know that for me, there was so most of my life, I couldn't even dream of being with another person. Even having sex with them was out of my reach. And I'm going to a place where I'm just like in this like caring and loving relationship for, well, many years now, where I feel we've been through many difficult things together. And that's what inspires me to go on. And I always remember that hope that I had. That hope, and one day I can fall in love. That I deserve to give love and be loved in return. That hope stayed with me. I kept that light going. And I want you to have that. I want you to know that there is hope. Hope, no matter how dark things may be, my friend, things can and do change for the better. You are strong. You are capable. You've been through so many things in your life. You can figure this out. You can make change happen. You deserve to live the high life. You deserve to live the life of happiness, of joy, and fulfillment. You deserve to bring and more healing into your life, to be on this journey towards healing life. Not because it just instantly happens. It takes courage and effort and acceptance, but it makes you feel so much better about yourself. You deserve to raise your own standards for what you expect of yourself and the world around you, that will bring more trust, greater sense of connection with people around you. You deserve that sense of integrity. You deserve to have more growth in your life, to be striving towards new skills, new capabilities, things that make you feel better, things that make you go further than you've ever thought before, and holding on to hope. Hope that you can figure this out. Hope that you've done things before, that you can make things happen. I believe in you. You deserve to be happy. I'm here for you. This is Joe Bermudsky. Thank you for being here.